We already have this appetite for adventures. The idea of being on these roads that are less taken and on dirt roads and the chance to really be out in the wilderness, going somewhere where there wouldn't be lots of traffic and lots of people was a real pull for me.
You just go a little bit farther south. It's not that far, and everything changes. You know, you're out there in nature and beauty. The plan for the ride was basically to start on the Pacific coast and wind up in the Sea of Cortez, but going up this huge mountain in the middle.
You know, we spend our lives worrying about like what's for dinner, and we have all these notifications on our phones, and just there's all this like clutter in our lives, and it's so nice to just be outside and your only thing is pedaling up this hill.
The next day we got up and it was raining. This day had like short, steep climbs and this mud, and you just can't get traction, and you're just, you know, it's like the terrain is battling you the whole way through.
I fell over a lot, both sides multiple times. You don't know quite how it's going to end. You don't know what's going to come around the corner. You don't know if you're going to stop. Your bike's all wiggling everywhere.
I'm pretty tired, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to curl up into the old fetal position.
I'll definitely sleep well, that's for sure.
Sleep like a baby.
But the final day, we knew we had more ground to cover, and we knew we were going to get to the Sea of Cortez that day. We had to. We sort of really went for it with the Mexico jerseys.
We're looking at about a 100-mile day with like almost all of it being off-road, right? That's a pretty long day.
Not bad.
Everything's worth it for that 10-minute descent where you're just ripping at 50 k's an hour down these. And the bikes were perfect for that, you know? You don't need suspension. It was just, the whole thing was just great. That was wonderful.
At the paved road, we stopped at a little burrito shop. And then we had a few miles of paved road. I don't remember how long it was, 10 or 15 miles. Luckily, it was mostly downhill, and we're just in this desert again. And you get from the road, and you turn off onto the dry lake bed where there's not really a road, it's just this big, giant, dried up lake that you're riding across. We're making really good time. Like, we're moving across this dry lake bed, and then all of a sudden, just, whoa, you know, we hit this mud. We were riding mostly along the same course that the San Felipe 250 was on, and it was just a few weeks before. So what happens is these guys go through this sand and they just tear it up, and there's loose sand everywhere.
I've got 30 pounds of bike, I have 150 pounds of me, and the sand is this deep and my tire's that wide, so it's just like riding through treacle or something. I suddenly say, Sean, what about that desert over there, you know, just to our right? Why aren't we riding in that? And he says, I don't know. And we go onto the desert, and apart from all the plants that wanted to kill us, suddenly we're making way faster progress.
sliding along, and James is following me, but you can't see those rocks. And bam, James hit a big rock. 40 minutes from the finish, and James gets a flat.
You could see the end, you know, and all I could think about was that ocean and having fish tacos and beer on the beach. I've traveled all over the world. It's one of the most magical places that you can go. And you can go, I mean, we're in San Diego. I can ride my bike to the border in Tijuana and be in such a different place and just escape so far from the sort of the everyday and the mundane. Mexico is one of those countries which we really give kind of short shrift to. And it's an incredibly diverse country. The cuisine, the culture, the indigenous people, the modern culture that they have now. For me, the bike was the best way to see that. And if I didn't ride bikes, I probably wouldn't be here in San Diego, and I certainly wouldn't have been down there in Baja.